What's going on, everybody? We're gonna do a reading today because the Most High is just he's giving me insight, and uh, there's some things that's gonna happen. There's all things are possible to those that believe. We have to come to a deeper revelation of who the Master is, who we serve, and what's possible. Uh, After I've learned what I learned, I don't like saying certain names such as Lord, God, and Jesus, simply for the fact of, I've done my research and I understand that 400 years ago the letter J didn't exist, and Jesus comes from other things, but that's neither here or there. I came to the truth under that, but as the Most High reveals more stuff, and I know they have a book out there with the true names, with the true everything that these people have hidden, just like they burned up a library in Alexandria, not in Louisiana. I'm talking about the library of, I forgot the name of it, but with all the books and the information and the technology that they had with UFOs and all the other stuff they had back then. Nothing's new underneath the sun with all these the fallen angels and the stuff that they did, the Anunnaki, whatever you want to call them. They worked with the Mayans, they worked with the Egyptians, and those people are starting to mess with them right now. That's why you see in certain Super Bowl commercials, they talk about they come in peace, and then they start bombing the place up. You see on The Simpsons how they got a show with a certain seal country, and how they had a robot, kicking humans and shooting stuff up, fire everywhere, and it had the just the revelation times with the four horsemen and stuff like that. Um, I posted that on my Instagram. That's neither here or there. I'll leave my Instagram down below with this current username. But let's get into this because there's something great that's going to break out. We haven't seen the glory of the Most High as we should, or as we need to. It talks about in the end times how they will do great exploits. It talks about that those that believe in the signs shall follow them that believe. They shall cast out demons. They shall speak in new tongues. They shall heal the sick. The sick shall be healed and they will recover. And I believe that if he said greater works than these shall you do, and he did great works, and most of his works aren't even in this book that we know and what we know. He raised Lazarus from the quote unquote dead. He raised the woman's daughter from the dead, right? But he said that she was simply sleep, and then he referred to Lazarus being sleep, right? So and if Lazarus was dead for 4 days, it doesn't matter what time he was dead. He was dead. So if you could consider someone dead and you could rise them back up, hey, there's nothing that's impossible. When you understand that nothing's impossible, excuse me, your faith goes to a different level. I've been believing the Most High for certain things. I really want to do some great things on this earth before I leave, and I want to help as many people as possible and win as many souls as possible. And I don't want it to be televised. I just want to have the market available to do that, and the capital available to do that. And I don't need people to know, hey, I did this for that person. I did this for that person. I don't need to take pictures of what I did. I don't need to record anything I do. I just want to help as many people as possible. It talks about how we're commissioned to take care of the widows and the orphans, and heal the sick, and host banquets and stuff for the poor that can't pay you back and stuff like that. And the poor will always be among you, but you don't have to necessarily be the one that's poor, and you can be the person that helps. And the Most High is going to reward what you do. But the stuff that you do to be glorified, the stuff that you do to be seen, you're getting your reward on earth. You've already gotten your reward. That's neither here or there. I just want the glory to be upon me. I want to, walk in anointing like Peter. I want to walk in an anointing like Paul. I want to walk in an anointing like Elijah, Elisha. I want a double portion of the anointing. I just want And I don't want it for my glory. I don't have any glory. I don't want it for my praise. I don't have any praise. I don't want it for my honor. I don't have any honor. It's the Most High that gets all the praise, glory, and honor. It's the Most High. It's Him working in and through me. It's me submitting to myself, me being DTF. What is DTF? Dead to my flesh. Death to my flesh. Walking in the Spirit. Living in the Spirit. Right, so let's get into this. I'm gonna read this, and as I go, I might talk here and there. Y'all know how I get, but let's get into it. The death and resurrection of Lazarus. All right, now a certain man named Lazarus was sick. He was from Bethany, the village where Mary and her sister Martha lived. This is the Amplified Version. The Amplified Version is a good version for people to read that are just now starting out reading the Bible. I grew up with the King James in front of my face all my life, and I recently started reading the new King James, but also the Amplified just gives it more life and deeper meaning and clarification, and you're able to see, okay, this, that, and that, and this. But let me keep reading. Let me shut up and keep reading. It was the Mary who anointed the Lord with perfume and wiped his feet with her hair, whose brother Lazarus was sick. So the sisters sent word to him saying, Lord, he, our brother and your friend, whom you love, is sick. When Jesus heard this, he said, the sickness will not end in death, but on the contrary, it is for the glory and honor of the Most High, so that the Son of the Most High may be glorified by it. Now Jesus loved and was concerned about Martha and her sister and Lazarus, and considered them dear friends. When you're a friend of the Most High, when you're a friend of the Most High's Son, you are in good hands. You have nothing to worry about. You don't have nothing to complain or be fretful or afraid about. He is there, and he will answer on the appointed time. He's gonna be there at the appointed time. You have nothing to worry about, nothing to fret about. So even when he heard that Lazarus was sick, he stayed in the same place 2 more days. This is this would, after you hear something like that, what do you do? What do you tend to do? This goes back to how, the Most High Son was sleeping during a storm. Whenever I believe that it was spirits, marine kingdom spirits, operating and causing the sea to move and act up the way it did, and the winds to act up the way it did. He was asleep. He was at peace. He was not bothered. The Most High Son is not bothered by the conditions, the natural conditions. He has control. He has the power to say, peace be still, mountain be moved. He has the power to say, trials go away. He has the power to say, legion, leave him. He has the power, and we're going to read on that. He has the power and the dominion, all glory, power, and dominion and honor. Control. It's just the control, just the authority he has, right? He is not bothered. And if you acting crazy like you about to die, and when he does this, he's like, where is your faith? Where was your faith? We gotta have our faith. We have to take the limitation off our mind. We have to unlearn what they told us and showed us. And we have to renew our mind in this word and soak in this word. Let me keep going. Where was I? Verse 6. So even when he heard that Lazarus was sick, he stayed in the same place 2 more days. Dang, that not bothered. Okay, I'm gonna come see it when I'm ready. I got stuff to do. I'm gonna come. Then he said to his disciples, let us go back to Judea. The disciples said to him, Rabbi, teacher, the Jews were only recently going to stone you, and you are thinking of Going back there again, like the disciples, bruh, you weren't aren't these people that you came for? That you're the Messiah over, they want to stone you. They got some Pharisees and Sadducees that hate you. So, the Most High Son, you say Jesus, he had ops. He had ops. He had people that hated him for the good that he was doing on the earth, right? And that's just the boldness, the authority, the not being fearful or fretting. We're going back. Yeah, we're going back. And he, in verse 9, Jesus answered, the Most High Son answered, are there not 12 hours of light in the day? Now, this is just my revelation that I got. The Babylonian, Constantine, Roman Catholic, all that, they changed the time to 24 hours in a day. There was only 12 hours. Like the 9th hour, the 3rd hour, you read about it throughout the Bible. It doesn't talk about the 24th hour. It doesn't talk about all that. So that's what I feel is what it is. But let me read this to give you more clarity. Jesus answered, are there not 12 hours of light in the day? Anyone who walks in the daytime does not stumble because he sees by the light of this world. But if anyone walks in the night, he stumbles because there is no light in him. See, this is he's so much deeper. It's like, bruh, when I read this, it blew my mind. It's, what are you walking in? Are you walking in the light or are you walking in the day? You're gonna stumble up if you're walking in the darkness, if you're operating in darkness, because there's no light in you. But since you're walking in the light, you're walking in daytime. You're not gonna stumble. You're not gonna trip up if you're walking in the light. If you're walking in the Spirit, if you're connected to Him, and He's connected to you, you'll produce fruit, and you got provision, protection, abundance, authority. Right? It's so much deeper. It's so much deeper. Anyone who walks in the daytime does not stumble. Anyone that's walking with me, anyone that is abiding in me and my Father is good. You're not going to stumble. Right? This is... and it says that the Israelites, and I believe the saints as well, we are the light of the world. We are the light of the world, the city set on the hill. We are to be kings and priests, a royal priesthood. Right? So, let me keep on reading. Verse 11, he said this, and after that said, our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I am going there to wake him. This is 2 days after that he was told what he was told, and he had known that Lazarus had, quote unquote, how the world pronounces it, died, but he said he has just fallen asleep. This is spiritual insight. He's not dead, he's just asleep. He's not dead, he's asleep. But I'm going there to wake him. He's going to wake him up. The disciples answered, Lord, if he has fallen asleep, he will recover. They must have been thinking he was just asleep or in a coma, right? And as we read on, we're going to see that. However, Jesus had spoken of his death, but they thought that he was referring to natural sleep. So then Jesus told them plainly, listen, guys, Lazarus is dead. And for your sake, I am glad that I was not there, so that you may believe, but let us go to him. Right? This is to increase their faith and for the glory to be evident and seen and manifest. Then Thomas, who was called Didymus, the twin, said to his fellow disciples, let us go too, that we may die with him. Like, that from what I perceive, I don't know what Didymus was talking about, what Thomas was talking about. If he was talking about to go die with the Most High Son, he was kind of off. You know what I'm saying? Cause that would be negativity in my camp. That would be negativity saying, they gonna stone. If they gonna stone him, well, let's go so we can get stoned too. That's what I got. But until I get deeper revelation or insight on what he might have been saying, that's how I take it. Right. So it's not good to have negativity in the midst of manifestation and faith. Right. We're gonna read about that later on. But let's continue reading verse 17. So when Jesus arrived, he found that Lazarus had already been in the tomb 4 days. Bethany was near Jerusalem, about 2 miles away, and many of the Jews had come to see Martha and Mary to comfort them concerning the loss of their brother. So when Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went to meet him, while Mary remained sitting in the house. Then Martha said to Jesus, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would have not died. Even now I know that whatever you ask of God, God will give to you." Right? This is her saying, I know that if you would have been here, he wouldn't have died. But I have the faith that whatever you ask, whatever you believe of the Most High, it's going to happen. He'll give it to you. Right? Jesus told her, "Your brother will rise from the dead." Martha replied, "I know that he will rise from the dead in the resurrection on the last day." And then he says this. And when I read this, I was like, whoa, because this, if you read this lights up different scriptures. This makes you think, okay, well, what is he saying when he said that to the Pharisees concerning this? What is he saying when he says this? It's like, hold on, wait. If he's the resurrection, then what is really being said? There's deeper revelation to these scriptures. There's more to these words, because these words are spirit and life. And every time you read them, you're going to see and learn something new every time you read them. Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and the life." What? In the resurrection on the last day. He will rise in the resurrection on the last day. He said, "I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes and adheres to, trust in, relies on me as Savior will live even if he dies." Jesus. Most High Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, what are you saying? What are you saying? Whoa, hold on. What? Kobe Bryant, what are you saying? Like the Kanye commercial. Oh, man. But, and everyone who lives and believes in me as Savior will never die. Do you believe this? How do you respond? How do you react when he says, everyone who lives and believes in me will never die? Do you believe this? She said to him, "Yes, Lord, I have believed and continue to believe that you are the Christ, the Messiah, the anointed one, the Son of God, the Son of the Most High, who was destined and promised to come into the world, and it is for you that the world has waited." After she said this, see, this is a believer. This you need faith in the midst of a miracle beginning to happen. He asked her a question. If you don't have faith to believe, then the miracle can't be done. You need people around you that believe that this can happen, that a person can rise from the quote unquote sleep, quote unquote dead, because he that believes in the Father, that believes in the Most High Son, they ain't dead. This is a whole brain explosion of a message. This is something that is not taught, right? After she had said this, verse 28, she left and called her sister Mary privately, whispering to her, "The teacher is here and is asking for you." And when she heard this, She got up quickly and went to him. Mary said, I got to get from around here. Mary was crying and the Jews was trying to comfort her and weeping with her. She said, let me get up. The master's here. Hold on. Drop everything. Let me go see what he's talking about, right? Now, Jesus had not yet entered the village, but was still at the place where Martha had met him. So when the Jews who were with her in the house comforting her saw how quickly Mary got up and left, they followed her, assuming that she was going to the tomb to weep there. And you know something? You gotta watch this. You gotta watch for the people that are there for sentimental reasons and they're just to be there. They're just to fake cry. They're just to, there's certain people you could discern you ain't no good. You don't even need to be here. You're not here for the right reasons. You just want to be a part of the crowd, just want to follow, just want to, you know, it's evident. Not everybody that was in the room when the miracle of the lame man coming down from the roof into the house, not everybody that was there because, oh, we want to see a miracle of the Most High, we want to encounter with him. No, they was there to talk about, speculate, have that doubtful, negative, unbelieving, criticizing, scoffing, mocking spirit there to be present. The Pharisees and Sadducees, and we're gonna read about this more, right here, right here. Where was I? And now, okay, now verse 30. Now Jesus had not yet entered the village, but was still at the place where Martha had met him. So when the Jews who were with her in the house comforting her saw how quickly Mary got up and left, they followed her, assuming that she was going to the tomb to weep there. When Mary came to the place where Jesus was and saw him, she fell at his feet, saying to him, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. Let me yawn. Let me get that out. Verse 33, when Jesus saw her sobbing and the Jews who had come with her also sobbing, he was deeply moved in spirit to the point of anger at the sorrow caused by death. Right? He doesn't like sorrow. This is what I'm getting from this, and was troubled and said, where have you laid him? They said, Lord, come and see. Jesus wept. So the Jews were saying, see how he loved him as a close friend. But some of them said, could not this man who opened the blind man's eyes have kept this man from dying? And it's just that negative spirit. Once again, it's like, bro, you are not even in the game. You're on the sideline. You're not even on the bench, warming up the bench, cheering us on. You're on the sideline criticizing, being a fan. You're you're skeptical. You're a spectator. Like we don't need your negative energy around here at all. You can leave. Like I don't want anybody around me when I'm in the midst of submitting myself to the Holy Spirit, to the Most High, for him to work in and through me. I don't want nobody negative around me, because that's how miracles can be stopped from happening. You have to remove the lack of faith, the doubt, the unbelief, the scorning, the mocking, the scoffing away. You have to get that away from you. That's with anything you do. If you want to kill a vision, tell it to small-minded people. If you have a dream and you want it to go out, or you have a fire on your life and you want it to go out, stay around negative-minded people. Be around negative-minded, small-minded, doubtful people with bad energy. That's how stuff won't prosper. You have to remove yourself from that, and this is the Most High Son, knowing that you cannot be in the midst of negativity and have negativity around you and positivity happens. You have to get that away from you. so that the creative juices and the manifestation can flow under the obedience of the Most High, under the instruction and the power and the might and the glory of the Spirit of the Most High. So Jesus again, deeply moved, verse 38, within to the point of anger, approached the tomb. It was a cave, and a boulder was lying against it to cover the entrance. Jesus said, "Take away the stone." Martha, the sister of the dead man, said to him, "Lord, by this time there will be an offensive odor, for he has been dead 4 days. It is hopeless." This is a lack of faith right here. If you see the Most High Son here, or if you see a person anointed, called in obedient submission to the Most High, a man of righteousness or a woman of righteousness there to perform a miracle, and you saying, well, making excuses, this is how you block blessings. This is how you block miracles and signs and wonders from happening. Get out the way. You got to rebuke them. You got to rebuke them like the Most High Son had to rebuke Peter when it was his time for things to happen. Talking about Peter talking about, no, you're not going to do this. You're going to be with us forever, trying to stop the Most High Son from fulfilling the purpose. And he said, get out the way, Satan. I rebuke you, Satan. Because right then and there, it allowed the enemy to come in and use him, right? And he had to get rebuked. And that was a disciple. Right? So it just goes to show certain people, even the ones that you think, okay, yeah, they're good people, or they believe, or they faithful, they might allow the spirit of fear, the spirit of doubt, or the spirit, or a certain spirit to come upon them, and you got to correctly address and rebuke. And an open rebuke is better than hidden love, concealed love, Proverbs, right? And so let's keep reading. Did I not say to you that if you believe in me, you will see the glory of the Most High, the expression of his excellence? So they took away the stone. Whenever you're in the process of a miracle happening, there has to be obedience. There has to be instruction. There's instructions given. Then there's, whether it's the laying of hands or a spoken word, and then the manifestation, right? So they took away the stone, and Jesus raised his eyes toward heaven and said, this is him talking to the Most High, "Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I knew that you always hear me and listen to me, but I have said this because of the people standing around, so that they may believe that you have sent me, and that you have made me your representative." When he had said this, he shouted with a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out." The power, the authority, the power and authority. Verse 44, out came the man who had been dead, who had been asleep, who had been dead, his hands and feet tightly wrapped in burial cloths, linen strips, and with a burial cloth wrapped around his face. Jesus said to them, "Unwrap him and release him." Now, Jesus said to them, it's not in the Amplified version. I don't know if it's different in the King James, but it said to them. It doesn't say who's them. Who is them? It could have been the people, and that's the safe and the easy way to go about it. But what if this was demons? Unwrap him and release him. Whoa. You know, we don't know, but you can stick with the safe side and say, oh, it was the people he said that to, or you could be like, you know, this was demons. Now, other versions might explain that, but I'm in the Amplified. I haven't read the King James, or if I have, I don't remember. And I don't feel like switching over right now, so we're going to continue reading. So, in verse 45, so then many of the Jews who had come to be with Mary and who were eyewitnesses to what Jesus had done believed in him, but some of them went back to the Pharisees and told them what Jesus had done. Whether this was out of excitement or whether these people were siding with the Pharisees, I don't know. But if you know that these people do not like the Most High Son, why are you blabbing your mouth about the miracles being done? Some people just doing it out of excitement, maybe. You know, some people might not be able to hold it in. But nonetheless, these people, these Pharisees, Sadducees, are ops. They do not. They are against the Most High Son and against the work of the Most High, against the miracles, against all that, and they are the serpents and vipers, the children of darkness, the children of pride. They are of their father, the devil. The conspiracy to kill Jesus. I'm gonna read a little bit of this, and then I'm gonna go read Mark 5, and then we're gonna be done. Right? Conspiracy to kill Jesus. So the chief priests and Pharisees convened a council of the leaders in Israel and said, "What are we doing? For this man performs many signs, attesting miracles. If we let him go on like this, everyone will believe in him, and the Romans will come and take away both our holy place, the temple, and our nation." These people do not want to see the work go forth. But it was all in the Most High's planning for these people to do what they've done. They were in his timeline. You could be in his timeline on the good side or the bad side, but you're gonna play your role regardless, naturally. But one of them, Caiaphas, who was the high priest that year, the year of Christ's crucifixion, said to them, "You know nothing at all, nor do you understand that it is expedient and politically advantageous my tongue twist, for you that one man die for the people, and that the whole nation not perish." Now, he did not say this simply on his own initiative, but being the high priest that year, he was unknowingly used by God and prophesied that Jesus was going to die for the nation, and not only for the nation, but also for the purpose of gathering together into one body the children of God who have been scattered abroad. So from that day on, they planned together to kill him. For that reason, Jesus no longer walked openly among the Jews, but left there and went to the district that borders on the uninhabited wilderness, to a town called Ephraim, and stayed there with the disciples. Now the Passover of the Jews was approaching, and many from the country went up to Jerusalem before the Passover to purify themselves ceremonially, so that they would be able to participate in the feast. I believe we're supposed to keep Passover in the feast days. We're not supposed to be doing pagan holidays. The pagan holidays are holidays. They are of the devil. They are idol and evil, and the Bible talks about certain days, certain festivals, certain events that are of evil, of idol worship, and they just switch the names to certain stuff. I will not. My people ain't doing that. I'm not doing that. Anybody rocking with me, I'm not doing that. And if you doing that, I ain't rocking with you. Just gonna be honest. Just gonna be honest. But let's continue going. It's verse 56. So they were looking for Jesus, and as they stood in the temple area and saying among themselves, "What do you think? Will he not come to the feast at all?" Now the chief priests and Pharisees had given orders that if anyone knew where he was to report it, so that they might arrest him. These people some ops, bro. Imagine you doing the work of the Most High, and you're doing the work that you're supposed to do on the earth, and you got people that want to take you out, that want to send you up and deliver you up to the courts, deliver you up to jail, that want to kill you. If it happened then, if they hated me, know that if they hate me, if they hate you, know that they hated me. Right? So just know, if you're doing this work, if you start doing stuff like this, oh, somebody somewhere is plotting on you. So just keep that in mind. Okay, let's go to Mark 5. And we're going to read this, and then we're going to be done with it. This is the Gerasene demoniac. They came to the other side of the sea, the region of the Gerasenes. When Jesus got out of the boat, immediately a man from the tombs with an unclean spirit met him. And the man lived in the tombs, and no one could bind him anymore, not even with chains, for he had often been bound with shackles for the feet and with chains. And he tore apart the chains and broke the shackles into pieces, and no one was strong enough to subdue and tame him. This is demonic strength. Demons have strength. They have certain raging, angry demons, spirits that mutate the human body once it's possessed. Once they find a way to slip in and possess you, if you allow it, certain people are able to do certain things they're not able to do naturally, but they're able to do spiritually. And you can be under the power of the Most High, or the power of and the dominion and the darkness of evil. Just for example, Chris Angels, he can levitate, he can do certain things. They got certain people levitating, flying, doing all different types of evil, but are they doing it in light or darkness? See, this is what you have to discern in these hours. Who's performing miracles in the Most High's name, and who's performing miracles in other names, false names, performing weird signs and wonders and false signs and wonders, and who's doing stuff out of holiness and out of purity and giving the glory to the Most High. This is what we have to discern. For he had often been bound with shackles for the feet and with chains, and he tore apart the chains and broke the shackles into pieces, and no one was strong enough to subdue and tame him. Verse 5, night and day he was continually screaming and shrieking among the tombs on the mountains, and cutting himself with sharp stones. This is what, people that are suicidal, depressed, and anxiety, people that are filled with certain spirits, they like to cut themselves. Why? Because these demons like blood. They like sacrifices. They like, flesh. They got a certain demon called a Gal that's on that's gonna be one of the Dodge Chargers new names of their vehicles. They like to call stuff demons and Hellcats and Hellcat Chargers and stuff like that. But it's a Gal, and I looked it up. What a Gal is? It's a demon that eats the flesh of dead bodies and corpses and graves. So where was I? Yeah, night and day he was constantly screaming and shrieking. The terror he was going through, and probably the noise that these demons were making to him, I couldn't imagine. Although I've seen some demonic stuff and I've smelled some stuff in the spirit before. I've smelled sulfur. I've smelled holy fragrance. I done been through some stuff for a reason, for a purpose. Verse 6, seeing Jesus from a distance, he ran up and bowed down before him in homage, and screaming with a loud voice, he said, "What business do we have in common with each other, Jesus, Son of the Most High God?" This was the demon giving reverence, the spirits in him giving reverence to him, because they knew the authority. He had just finished and got off the boat, and he commanded the water to be still. So it's already one spirit that he knocked out and out the way, and now he's coming to this, right? He's coming to this, and they trying to inquire and see, do we have anything in common? Is there anything that we have in common to where I can still have access, I can still have dominion, I can still have power, I still have control, I have a leeway, I have a contract, I have a access, I have a portal to continue doing what I'm doing, or possess you, or to do this or to do that. And we have nothing in common with each other. You don't have nothing in common with the Holy One, with the Most High Son, right? I implored by God, swear to me. That's what they're saying. Do not torment me. For Jesus had been saying to him, "Come out of the man, you unclean spirit." This is the Most High Son saying this to the spirit. And we come to find out is legion, which means many spirits. And I'm going to get to it later. Come out of the man, you unclean spirit. He was asking him, what is your name? And he replied, my name is Legion, for we are many. Whoa. This people don't understand with the amount of, if you're doing a lot of sexual immorality, sexual impurity, if you're opening up the door through eye gates of what you're looking at, watching, and listening to, through your ear gates, what you're listening to, if you're watching pornography, if you're having multiple sexual partners, those people that they've slept with, your those demons attached to you, to their soul is that's why a lot of people have quote unquote schizophrenia, quote unquote how did I say this, quote unquote a double personality, or split mind, or what's another word for bipolar, right? You know, it's a spirit, and it's people are tied, their souls are tied together, right? But like I was saying, he said, my name is Legion, for we are many. This is one man that is obtained and occupied by at least 2,000 demons. Because when we read the scriptures and we go down, the demons beg for them to go into the pigs. And the Most High Son allowed it. And they went into the pigs. Right? They went into the pigs. And from going into the pigs, it was about 2,000 pigs that they was in. So it says there was about 2,000 pigs, but how many demons were actually inside? Right? This is why we got to be careful and mindful of what we're watching, what we're listening to, who we're around, who we keep in company with, because it says do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers, because who you be around, you can develop a soul tie with them as a friend or in a relationship, right? And things that, you know, you are who you hang around. That's a true saying, right? It talks about how a man and another man in the Bible, it wasn't nothing sexual, but their friendship was so close that they had a soul tie, right? So it's important to have kingdom relationships, right? Healthy relationships. It's important to be around people who believe. It's important to be around people who have the same mindset, same thought process, on the same page as you. You do not need to be around negative people. You do not need to be around people that do not believe the way you believe. You do not need to be around people who don't think on the things you think on, meditate on the things you think on. You know, it's important. It's big. It's very huge. It's not nothing to play with at all. And I'm not even to the part where I want to emphasize on about a second example of the raising of the dead, but let's get into it. My name is Legion, for we are many. Verse 10 of Mark 5, and he began begging him repeatedly not to send them out of the region. Now there was a large herd of pigs grazing there on the mountain, and the demons begged him, saying, send us to the pigs so that we may go into them. Verse 13, Jesus gave them permission, and the unclean spirits came out of the man and entered the pigs. The herd, numbering about 2,000, rushed down the steep bank into the sea. These pigs knew how evil these spirits are. And they said, oh no, you not finna live in us. Imagine the most unclean animal, the animal we're told not to eat, saying, oh nah, Negro, nah, Jack, nah, pimpin', you're not staying in us. We're not, we can't do this. And they go into the sea and drown themselves. And this is another thing. If those pigs went into the sea, you know, you got to question, do these spirits dwell in the sea? Are there spirits dwelling in the sea? Right? If, you know what? There's a idol god called, or idol worship figure called Dagon, half man, half fish, a mermaid. You ever watched The Little Mermaid? Right? I've seen pictures of a skeleton that's half human, half mermaid. This stuff is real, right? But let's keep going. And they were drowned one after the other in the sea. The herd, verse 14, Pedro cutting up. He underneath the covers barking. The herdsmen tending the pigs ran away and reported it in the city, in the country, and the people came to see what had happened. They came to see Jesus and saw the man who had been demon possessed sitting down, clothed and in his right mind, the man who had previously had the legion of demons, and they were frightened. Those who had seen it described in detail to the people who had what had happened to the demon-possessed man, and told them all about the pigs. So the people began to beg with Jesus to leave their region. As he was stepping into the boat, the Gentile man who had been demon-possessed was begging with him, asking that he might go with him as a disciple. Jesus did not let him come, but instead he said to him, "Go home to your family and tell them all the great things that the Lord has done for you and how he has had mercy on you." So he obeyed and went away and began to publicly proclaim in Decapolis, the region of the 10 Hellenistic cities, all the great things that Jesus had done for him, and all the people were astonished. This just goes to show the mercy, the grace, the favor that he has for the Gentiles, and the love that he has for the Gentiles, right? In verse 21, miracles and healing. When Jesus had again crossed over in the boat to the other side of the sea, a large crowd gathered around him, and so he stayed by the seashore. One of the synagogue officials named Jairus came up, and seeing him fell at his feet and begged anxiously with him, saying, "My little daughter is at the point of death. Please come and lay your hands on her so that she will be healed and live." And Jesus went with him, and a large crowd followed him and pressed in around him from all sides. A woman in the crowd had suffered from a hemorrhage for 12 years and had endured much suffering at the hands of many physicians. So this was a woman that was leaking blood in her private areas for 12 years and went to many physicians, right? She went to many physicians, and she suffered at the hands of many physicians. She had spent all that she had and was not helped at all, but instead had become worse. She had heard reports about Jesus, and she came up behind him in the crowd and touched his outer robe, the hem of his garment, as they say. For she thought, if I just touch his clothing, I will get well. Immediately her flow of blood was dried up, and she felt in her body and knew without any doubt that she was healed. On her suffering, immediately Jesus, recognizing in himself that power had gone out from him, turned around in the crowd and asked, "Who touched my clothes?" His disciples said to him, "You see the crowd pressing around you from all sides, and you ask, 'Who touched me?'" This all these people around the Most High Son, and he's saying, "Who touched me?" Why? Because he knew power had gone from out of him. It's important who you allow to touch you and who you don't allow to touch you, because there's power in your garments, there's power in your shadow, there's power in your passing, right? There's power. Still, he kept looking around to see the woman who had done it, and the woman, though she was afraid and trembling, aware of what had happened to her, came and fell down before him and told him the whole truth. Then he said to her, "Daughter, your faith, your personal trust and confidence in me has restored you to health. Go in peace and be permanently healed from your suffering." While he was still speaking, some people came from the synagogue official's house, saying to Jairus, "Your daughter has died. Why bother the teacher any longer?" This is people that are doubting with lack of faith, little faith, saying, "Don't bother him. Why are you bothering him?" Just like the man that was screaming out the Most High's son's name, right? He was screaming out his name, and if he would have screamed out his name and kept fighting and looking and searching for him while he was blind, he wouldn't have been able to been, you know, have spit and mud put on his eyes, and for him to be healed by following those instructions, right? So, you know, it's important to, in the midst of doubters, to keep the faith and to ignore the negativity, to, you know, have faith and to continue pressing in and seeking him diligently, because when you seek him diligently with all your heart and with a pure heart, that's when miracles, signs, and wonders will follow you. Overhearing what was being said, Jesus said to the synagogue official, "Do not be afraid, only keep on believing in me and my power." And he swallowed no one to go, he allowed no one to go with him as witnesses except Peter and James and John, the brother of James. They came to the house of the synagogue official, and he looked with understanding at the uproar and commotion and people loudly weeping and wailing and mourning. When he had gone in, he said to them, "Why make a commotion and weep? The child has not died, but is sleeping." This is the Most High Son reminding people that the person's not dead, they're asleep, right? It's a whole different level of thinking and a whole different level of faith, understanding, and revelation when you're told this, when you see this and it happens, right? They began laughing scornfully. And they began laughing scornfully at him because they knew the child was dead, right? These are the mockers, scoffers, non-believers, and right. But let's see what he does. But he made them all go outside and took along the child's father and mother and his own three companions and entered the room where the child was, right? Like I said, once again, all those that don't believe, all those that don't have faith, all those that mock, all those that scorn, all those that are, you know, it just goes to show you, they'll cry. There's a lot of people that cry, but there's not that many that will have faith. Right? This is a whole sermon and message in itself. There's a lot of people that will cry with you and be depressed with you and go through and mourn and wail with you, but there's not a lot of people that will get into the battlefield, that will go into action, that will do the work, that will have faith, that will believe with you. And it's important to know who those people are. They will express and expose themselves in that time. Right? Where was I? They began laughing, verse 40. They began laughing scornfully at him because they knew that the child was dead. But he made them all go outside and took along the child's father and mother and his own three companions into the room where the child was. Now, it's important to have faith. It's important to have people around you where two or three are gathered in my name, touching and agreeing on anything on earth, it shall be done for them as it is in heaven. Something along the lines of that. I just know when there's two or three believers gathered in his true name, that call on his name, that believe, miracle signs and wonders shall follow. Right? And even if it's just you and the spirit of the Most High, that's enough. That's what we have to understand. Right? Because he's always with us. So, verse 41. Taking the child's hand, he said tenderly to her, "Talitha cum," which translated from Aramaic means, "Little girl, I say to you, get up." The little girl immediately got up and began to walk, for she was 12 years old. And immediately they who witnessed the child's resurrection were overcome with great wonder and utter amazement. He gave strict orders that no one should know about this, and he told them to give her something to eat. So, following the removal of non-believers, right, he spoke the word, and then he gave instruction, right? This right here, the word that I look at in verse 42 is resurrection. Witness the child's resurrection. They witnessed the child's resurrection, and who is the resurrection? It's the Most High Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. It doesn't get any simpler than that. When you come to that revelation, that's when you're going to start seeing signs, miracles, and wonders. You have to have faith. Even if it's the size of a mustard seed, you have to have faith. Or whether it's the size of a mountain, you have to have faith. You have to be in submission and a willing vessel, right? And you have to be obedient. You have to speak the word and you have to be obedient. You have to take action. When you do those things, you're going to start seeing the miraculous, the signs, miracles, and wonders follow in and through your life and on your life and through others around you, right? May the Most High bless you and keep you. Excuse me. Y'all have a blessed day. Y'all have a blessed day. I'm out.